The Renaissance began in Italy in 14th century and spread around Europe through the 17th century. The term Renaissance means rebirth. During the period of time, the modern world was born as Gutenberg perfected printing, Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas, Copernicus found that the earth revolved around the sun, Martin Luther founded a new religion, the use of the canon and the harpicus ended chivalry, and Da Vinci and Michelangelo created a new form of art. The Renaissance age was an age full of discoveries. All kinds of discoveries were found, such as science. Nicholas Copernicus was a person who stated that the planets rotated around the sun. Besides being an astronomer, he was also a mathematician. He studied mathematics and art, but while doing so, he collected many books on the subject of astronomy. Before Copernicus proved that the Earth and Sun orbit around the Earth, everyone thought the Earth was the center of the universe. His statement wasn't completely true, but formed a vision of the future scientists. It also proved mankind's understanding. Literature was very famous in the time of the Renaissance, especially in Italy. Most of the focus was kept on learning Greek and Latin. These cultures were famous in the Renaissance, especially after the Dark Ages. A lot of topics these writers and poets would write about was Christianity, classical antiquity, scholarship, politics. One of the most famous writers from the Renaissance was William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was an English poet and a play writer. He was born in the year of 1564 and died of the year of 1660. Shakespeare was successful with his dramatic works and tragedies. One of his most famous writings is Romeo and Juliet, a tragic love story about a young boy and a girl who fall in love against their families' commands and die for each other. When William Shakespeare began his writing plays, the English language was rapidly absorbing words from other languages due to wars, exploration, democracy, and colonization. Scholars estimate that between the years 1500 and 1659, nouns, verbs, and modifiers of Latin, Greek, and modern Romance languages added 30,000 new words to the English.
Religion was a very big deal, which caused rebellion. Religion was a big deal in the Renaissance caused a lot of people to disagree and agree on. The church was selling indulgences and people broke from the church. Martin Luther believed you shouldn't pay your way into heaven. Luther was distressed over the issue of indulgences, so he wrote his list of arguments called the 95 Theses. Luther's 95 Theses became a big spread document but also criticized the church. The upshot of Luther's thesis was that Christians are saved by faith and faith alone, and that no amount of works, including the purchase of indulgences, made any difference at all. He was allowed to present his case in court and had a very powerful effect on the populace. In addition, the media explosion brought on by the printing press spread across his message much further than it otherwise might have gone, and made him the focus for all sorts of religious, spiritual, political, and economic discontent. He was allowed to present his case in court and had a powerful effect on the populace. He also had a very powerful patron and protector in the Elector of Saxony, who shielded him from the exiliational authorities. In addition, the media explosion brought on by the printing press spread his message much further than it otherwise might have gone, and made him the focus for all sorts of religious, spiritual, political, and economic discontent. Ultra Zwingli was another reformer. His beliefs were simple and straightforward. He believed that anything in the Bible is true, anything not in the Bible, not the truth. King Henry V was revolved with the church. He is known for the separation with the Church of England. The Pope and the church wouldn't give him permission to divorce. He was the defender of the faith. King Henry V was a believer in core Catholic theological teachings, even after his excommunication from the Catholic Church. The monks used to write Bibles, and not everyone could have a book to read, so their education level went down. When they finally learned how to print out the Bibles, the prices became lower and people could afford them. Today we read our books and do assignments from school on laptops. Most things are electronic now. The first Bible was printed in 1455. Gutenberg Bible, named for the craftsmanship and inventor of printing by use of movable type. Johannes Gutenberg was completed in 1455 at Mainz, Germany. Gutenberg's invention and the dispersion of relatively cheap printed materials ultimately stimulated enormous change, social, political, economic, and religious. Some 40 perfect vellum copies of Gutenberg's masterpiece of technological advancement still exist in the world. The Renaissance made a greater impact on the world than just in art, education, and technological advances. The Renaissance was a rebirth that was encouraged by the studying of classical texts that helped change the personal views of oneself and the world.